Always to Wolves by M.D. Schaffer. Prologue, Montana, 1911. Far stage, we see the interior of an early 20th century cabin. Moonlight shines over it. We can barely see into it as the family sits. Emily Clark, a young woman in a prairie garb, sits holding a crying baby. She rocks the babe while sitting in the chair, humming "Who's Afraid of a Big Bad Wolf," like a lullaby. She continuously looks to Odie, her younger brother, a lanky teen who stares out a window upstage. Jackson Clark, an old man covered in a blanket, sits turned upstage, directly staring into a fire that's steadily going in a fireplace. Evan Clark, a grayer, older man, Emily's husband, and Jackson's older brother, sits in a chair with a Winchester 94 on his lap. Downstage and outside of the cabin, an elk gallops on and looks around. Its eyes focus on something in the distance, then bugles. It's loud, it's intense, it's a warning. It dashes off. Wolves howl in the distance. It discomforts the family as they all viscerally react to the noise.
I can't take it, I can't.
Hold yourself together, child.
The baby starts crying louder.
I'm holding myself together by tattered threads at this point. What more do you expect of me?
I expect you to silence that child. I can't think with it whining that loud.
It is a baby. They whine, they cry, it's what they do.
Well, it ain't helping the situation.
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? The big bad wolf. Mm-hmm. Some kind of father you are. Can't even go protect your kin against them demons out there?
You think one of me can take on a whole pack?
Just gonna sit around and do nothing then?
You alright, sissy?
Peachy.
Jackson, you right?
Fire boy. One day they'll burn for what they've done to us.
There he goes again, talking fire and brimstone. Lay off
Beasts
it,
of hell
Jackson.
return to hell. They'll get what's coming to them.
Evans, make your brother stop.
Jackson.
There's a rustle outside that they all take note of.
It ain't right. They've been targeting us ever since winter came.
They're beasts. That's what they do.
So that gives them the right to tackle our stock?
They're animals, Odie. They don't care about rights, they care about survival. Sooner you recognize that, sooner you start acting the same, sooner you understand that this world's unforgiving.
Emily puts the baby in the crib and tends to him.
It ain't fair.
Emily, talk to your brother.
He ain't wrong, though.
Pouting about ain't gonna get us through the night.
And what do you suggest we do?
Evan sits up. Emily flashes him a look. A dog barks outside, causing everyone to look.
That's Isaac. Isaac probably spotted one.
Evans!
What do you expect me to do? I ain't going out there.
Evans, if our cattle can't make it to the spring, ain't nothing after for us.
And I'm not risking my life for no beast.
It ain't just a beast, it's livelihood. Odie and I ain't move out here for you to turn yellow.
I know you ain't calling me a coward.
I'm calling you how I see you.
Piece of hell.
Evans gets up, leaving the rifle in his chair.
You know what most men do to a woman who talk back as often as you?
Wouldn't have married him, let alone give him a baby.
Devil's hunters.
Most women would know when to mind her tongue.
And I ain't most women, am I? You probably wouldn't have done all you did if I was like most women.
Evans tightens his fist. Emily, still defiant, shakes imperceptibly in fear of being struck. A cow's scream is heard outside.
The cattle!
Can't do anything about it. We're staying indoors.
Devil dog, devil dog, devil dog.
Life ain't fair, so it's my turn to ask. What do you
The
expect
great
us to
devil is
do?
here.
The cries of multiple cows are heard as well as howling of wolves. A dog is heard barking until silenced with a whelp. Odie runs to the other window, facing the front door.
Isaac!
Hush, boy. No noise.
Devil takes his due in time.
Jackson, shut the hell up.
Devil, devil, devil.
Odie runs to the rifle, knocking Evans on the floor. He grabs the rifle and runs to the front door, flinging it open and runs outside.
Odie!
Emily runs outside the door, chasing him. The baby starts crying due to the noise. Evans struggles to get up. 4 shots ring out.
Devil is here and he's come to take his tithing.
Evans manages to get himself up. Emily screams a blood-curdling scream as the sounds of flesh ripping by teeth is heard.
Emily!
Emily screams louder until it's garbled in a choke. 3 shots ring out as some whines from wolves are heard. A click from a rifle is heard.
Shit! Shit! Evans! Evans!
The cry of wolves intensifies as Odie screams into the night. Evan manages to shut the door. We hear the snapping of bones, the ripping of flesh, Evan's heavy breath, and the baby sobs. Evan crawls to the baby, picking him up.
There. Daddy's gotcha. Daddy's got you, Grayson. Daddy's got you.
Devil takes his due. Gray demons of the night.
Come on, stop crying. For me, it's Daddy. What is it Emily hums? Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Big bad wolf. Big bad wolf.
He continues singing as the noise of feasting wolves intensifies. Jackson slowly stands as the feasting crescendos when it all becomes unbearable. Prologue 2. The not-so-distant future. Montana. Current day. Jackson removes his blanket to reveal he is instead Grayson Clark III. Dressed in a three-piece suit and tie, the cabin and Evans disappear as the image of a modern American map hangs as a backdrop. The entire set becomes increasingly modern as the camera crew comes in that's filming Grayson. He turns to the audience.
Moving, isn't it? Hello, America. I'm Grayson Clark III, and what you just saw is a part of Clark family history. We've been in this country since the Mayflower, and we settled in the great state of Montana back in the early 20th century. On that fateful night, back in 1911, my great, etc. grandfather, Evans Chlorinier Clark, lost his wife and brother-in-law Odie to a ravenous pack of wolves. I share that heartbreaking anecdote of family history with you, the great citizens of America, because I see you all as a part of my family. You might know me as the blue-collar champion who fought for unions all across my home state, the one who held true to prioritizing the needs of our interior workers to protect their businesses, land, family from all that threaten to challenge our free markets and economy. I'm running to be your president, but as you know, since the dissolution of the Democratic and Republican parties, many parties have risen to fill the voids left behind by those giants. But I, America, run with a party who values protecting family, protecting our people, protecting our America. And when dangers, like those wolves who took my ancestor Emily Angelina Clark, still exist to this day, our government's duty is to protect our nation. So as we take on this election year,
A banner unfurls revealing a blue elk insignia with words, "Vote for Clark, the Manifest Party."
vote for your future. Vote for your protection. Vote for the Manifest Party. Vote for Grayson Clark III.
Blackout. Scene 1, 2nd California. The scene shifts to a living room that's pretty well lived in. Suburbia to the core. White sofa with grays and whites being the central colors in the home. There's a dining table, a front door, and a couple of windows. The American map hangs behind the tableau of daily life. There's a knock on the front door. Another knock. Then the doorbell.
Ryan, mind grabbing the door?
Orion Donoghue, dressed in flannel with rolled up sleeves, holding a Nintendo Switch controller, walks on.
I got it. Trenton, don't think your ass is off the hook for stealing that star. I'm getting my lick back next round, you hear me?
Yeah, get good, bro.
Punk ass.
Orion opens the door. Shayna Romero, dressed in her best pantsuit, carrying a briefcase, is standing in the doorway. Orion looks at her confused.
Hello?
Hi. This is the Domingue house?
Yeah. Who are you supposed to be?
Oh, I'm Shayna. Shayna Romero.
Orion Domingue. Miss Romero, how can I help you?
Is Christina Domingue home?
Is she expecting you?
No. But if you tell her that Shayna Romero is here to speak with her. Well, I mean, can you please let her know Senator Shayna Romero is here to speak with her?
All right. Just wait here. Ma, hey Ma, where you at?
Orion exits as Trenton, in a college hoodie holding a Nintendo Switch controller, enters.
Orion, dude, it's your turn. Where? Oh, shit. You're Senator Romero.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Holy shit. Big, I'm a huge fan. Trenton Bender, I was phone banking like hell and back when you were running for Congress.
All the way from California.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I think what you're doing is like special, you know? I always felt that the Liberty Party was lacking the kind of fire that is needed to get the job done. And you just go and say shit, not caring about what others think, but the difference is you tell the truth.
Some say that's my worst quality. I don't exactly when not to speak. I don't know exactly when not to speak, but it's gotten me this far, I suppose. But thank you for that. I suppose that means you have an interest in politics?
It's my major, Senator Romero.
Please, just Shayna. I work for the people. Honorifics are too high and mighty for me.
Christina Donoghue, dressed in her Sunday at-home vest, enters. She glides across the floor with careful precision, poised with each step.
Of course, Shayna.
Hello there. You must be Senator Romero.
Yes! I'm Senator Romero of Florida, Miss Donoghue. I know this is incredibly proper, ma'am, but I just had to come speak to you face to face.
Long way from Florida. Did you fly in?
Yes, ma'am.
All that way, huh? Well, come on in. You probably have something important to make such a journey. Go tell Alejandro we have company and to prepare another plate.
Ma'am, I'd hate to impose. I only came to talk to you about the election.
Well, Miss Shayna, since you came all this way, this is the least I can do for such an esteemed colleague.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, Miss Donoghue, I wanted to... I came all this way because...
Take a breath, Shayna. World's not gonna end. You've got time.
I wanted to come and speak to you about your campaign.
What about?
Naturally, I think you're doing wonderfully. You're maybe a quote-unquote retired congresswoman, but during the primary, it felt like watching you again when you first ran for senator.
You were alive when I first ran.
I was a kid, but I was.
Okay, go on.
Well, I wanted to fly out all this way because, well, we never met before. And I grew up looking up to you, and I wanted to be you. And by the time I was ready to run, you were already out.
And you became the youngest person to ever be elected in Congress, if I'm correct.
Well, only beating the record you set yourself.
Don't worry, I got over it.
Well, I wanted to say, since I became senator, you might know I've been at the forefront of the pulse of social justice and supporting policies that help Americans, even managing to allocate more funds for the transportation.
I remember your first filibuster. Impressive work.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, let me interrupt and ask you something. Why didn't you run for the Liberty Party presidential candidate?
It's not my time, ma'am. The thing is, I'm really aware, hyper aware, too aware of my position and what people think of me. Many people think I'm too young, too brash, but they love what I have to say, but they can't shake what makes them nervous. And so early, when everyone was still wanting to join that race, I had my own plan.
Which is?
I want to be your vice president.
You do you?
The United States has never had two women run on the same major party ticket, even back when it was Democrats and Republicans.
Okay, but we tried.
What I'm proposing is you put me on as your second in command, your vice president. We virtually align with each other on every issue, and I'd argue I'd be a superior choice to any others vying for this position.
Take a seat, Shayna.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
They move to the couch and sit at opposite ends.
Sell yourself.
Excuse me?
This is a big ask. By no means do I think you're not a more than competent politician. However, you're famously the ire of the Manifest Party.
It's because of that's why I'm the right choice.
Bold statement. First question. What do you think you could bring to my campaign? As you said, we are virtually mirroring each other. So how do you propose that having you join me would help me get elected versus someone who is not a miniature version of me?
Well, respectfully, the biggest weakness of your campaign is the fact that you don't have someone keeping in touch with the rapidity of current events.
I don't.
Your office responds slower on social media than most. It could be a lack of interns, or maybe your PR team might not see how certain headlines will become road bumps down the line. Let me ask you, what is the current hot and button topic of the nation right now?
The latest season of Golden Bachelor?
No, but yes. An 8-year-old girl, Hannah Ball, was killed in a wolf attack in Glacier National Park on Friday. Grayson Clark already put out a statement saying he'll be visiting the family with his vice presidential candidate, Governor Joel Wolf. What does that tell you?
Joel and Grayson are Montana natives, not to mention Grayson's family history with wolves. It makes sense for them to check in with the family.
And what's your first thought hearing the story?
Where the hell were the parents when the wolf attacked?
Exactly.
But why does that mean I should choose you?
Because this is a golden media opportunity for Grayson's campaign on public safety. Your office has yet to respond, let alone find yourself an opportunity to shine. The public is going to ask themselves, Dominigue was wonderful when she was a Democratic senator, but is she out of touch? Does she know what America needs now that it's been so many years out of service? And that's where I come in.
She unpacks her briefcase, handing a folder to Christina.
I've been working tirelessly writing notes and coming up with plans to generate some momentum for your campaign. A partnership with us is bulletproof. It's a meeting of minds and generations. You bring the expertise, and I bring the fire and confidence.
You really prepared for this.
I ask myself every day what you would do. If I have the skills, I want to work for the better of the nation.
Then let me ask you this. What should my stance on Hannah Ball be?
The issue is not the attack, but how the attack was allowed to happen. At this point, you should show sympathy for the family and promise that a thorough investigation on the matter will be conducted. If you jump the gun pointing fingers, the public will see you as impulsive.
Not historically a bad thing to be seen as.
No, but historically, your strength is your compassion. That's what people will be looking for from your last term in office. That's why many people are in politics now.
Alejandro Dominigue, wearing an apron, comes in, wiping his hands off the apron.
Christina, mi amor, dinner is prepared. Oh, is this your guest? Alejandro, I'm Christina's husband. Welcome to our home.
Oh, hello, I'm Shana Romero.
Alejandro, this is Senator Romero. She is my new running partner.
Alejandro smiles, squeals from delight, and bear hugs Shana, who can only stare in disbelief. Christina smiles. Blackout. Interlude 1. The Homesteader, Wyoming. At a rally, a man dressed in Carhartt and cowboy boots and a vest stands in front of a microphone.
Now, there's a lot of them people in those states on the coasts that don't understand that this here conversation isn't one of man versus nature or man versus beast or man versus man. This is a conversation about land. Land that's been lived in and grown in. Now, my issue with the Liberty Party's candidate, Christina's stance, isn't that there needs to be a moment of grief for that young girl, for Hannah Ball. My issue is that the wolf population has been a threat to those people who depend on public lands for over a century. Now, I ain't too unaware to admit that I have a personal grievance with the wolves. Well, Grayson Clark's story isn't too dissimilar from my own family story. Because we've been on the ranch in Wyoming since the 1890s. And we've had that land passed down generation to generation. That land is our legacy. My grandfather was born on this land and worked it. So did his grandfather. So I hold our position on this land with reverence and pride. But we, living next to that public land, have had our history of wolf attacks. I promise you many other landowners have also been the victim of such cruelty. But when I have to explain to my 10-year-old daughter why her favorite calf was found absolutely ravaged on the trail, well, how the hell am I not supposed to feel rage about that? How could I not want to get those monsters back for coming onto my land and taking a life that I'm supposed to care for? They may be protected, but a man must be able to protect his land, his property, and his family against monsters, even when society calls it inhumane. This land may have been theirs long before I ever came here, but for the past century plus, this land has belonged to my family. So what does that mean for me? That's why this is, excuse my French, complete bullshit. That we have some politicians that would rather prioritize the lives of savage creatures rather than innocent lives like Hannah Ball. So when voting day comes, you bet your ass I'm voting the only person who gives a shit. Grayson Clark III.
He walks away as the scene transitions to Scene 2, Debate 1, New York. On a sound stage of a corporate news station, Christina enters with Shayna beside her. Shayna takes a look around, intimidated by the space. Christina looks back.
What is it?
Well, it's my first time in a national news station.
You wanted to be my VP? You'll be seeing a lot more of this. One day it'll be you charging into battle for your own debate.
We didn't even have a formal debate when I ran.
It's increasingly becoming a lost art.
I was surprised Grayson agreed to this debate.
I wasn't.
Really?
He understands what this game is. We both want the same thing, just different approaches. It's a matter of effectively selling yourself to the voters that your way will make them happier in the long run. This is just a good way to get our message out. Become more familiar with people.
Aren't you already a familiar face?
Doesn't hurt to remind them who I am.
Grayson and Joel Wolfe enter, dressed in gray suits. Christina approaches them.
Mr. Clark, Governor Wolfe,
Ms. Domingue, please. We're all here for the betterment of America's people. Call me Grayson.
I suppose that's all right.
Shayna approaches the men, giving a more firm handshake to the both.
Shayna Romero. It's a pleasure to meet both of you.
I'll be the first to say I'm familiar with your work. We may not share values, but I remember that hunger well. You exemplify that traditional bloodthirst.
Hunger and bloodthirst. Are you complimenting me or are you just making me out to be a vampire?
Or a werewolf. My hope is that maybe these old bones still got some of that magic left in it.
Come off it, Joel. You still have everything you need, but what the country needs is a grizzled veteran ready to take charge.
And to think, I was about to call it quits after my current term is up.
Take it from me, Joel. Retirement isn't all it's cracked up to be, especially for us old guard.
Don't call me the old guard just yet, Christina. I can still say hip with the youngins. Did I say that right, Shayna?
Production system comes on.
Mrs. Domingue, Mr. Clark, it's time for places.
The production assistant exits.
Well, Christina, may the best politician win.
Don't hold back now, Senny.
All exit as the moderator enters for the podium. Lights focus on them.
Hello, America. Thank you for tuning in for this special edition episode of PSTV, where Manifest Party candidate Grayson Clark III and Liberty Party candidate Christina Domingue will have the opportunity to speak directly with the American audience on topics and concerns, and be able to respond to each other in the first presidential debate of the year. The candidates have not received the questions and topics ahead of time. All they have is the knowledge that they will come in with. And with that, let's introduce candidates Grayson Clark III and Christina Domingue.
Christina and Grayson enter from opposing sides. They shake hands and go to two separate podiums on the opposing sides with mics.
Let's begin with the first question, the one that's probably on most Americans' minds. Earlier this year, Hannah Ball, an 8-year-old, was attacked and killed by a gray wolf in Glacier National Park. This has led to a larger dialogue regarding public safety, particularly how we can prevent this tragedy from happening again. Candidate Domingue, any thoughts?
Thank you. No parent should have to go through losing their child, especially a child so young. You said it is a tragedy. So I send my deepest condolences to the Ball family. My thoughts are that there should be a re-evaluation conducted on keeping visitors and wildlife safe. If there is a supported investigation, we can minimize these tragedies from reoccurring.
Candidate Clark, your response.
By all means, I agree. This is a tragedy, and I do think the first step is to evaluate the current priorities of our relationship to the wildlife that we share the land with. It is the duty of the American government to find a solution. How can we prioritize safety? Well, then what does safety look like? The Manifest Party has been asking ourselves that question these past 4 years under President Colin Richard's administration. Because the honest truth is, this is one of the biggest problems with the interior. We've historically been fighting to establish the same feeling of security as those residing in coastal states. This loss of life is a symptom of a larger problem that during my presidency, I'll look to fix.
Thank you. That leads well into the next question about the interior. The coastal states are observing increased levels of population while the interior is witnessing a stagnant, if not a decreasing population size. This has led to an increased need of resources shipped from the interior to the coastal states. However, the data reflects, despite this demand, there are not enough workers to work the interior lands. What is your stance on this growing trend, Candidate Clark?
What we need to consider is how to reestablish the interior as a land for opportunity. Is America not the land of opportunity? Therefore, all of America should be given the same chance to provide opportunity. What I propose is we restructure the interior and find pockets to optimize space, bringing bonuses and financial support to those who will move there, thereby stimulating our economies.
Candidate Domingue?
Well, I feel like I have an egg on my face expecting this to be a debate. So far, we've been nothing but agreeing with each other. When speaking to those who live on the coastal states, the largest concern is overcrowding. They view the interior as lacking appealing work, but it's that work that needs to be done. Americans want to buy American goods, but are often reluctant to do the work. To boost America's wealth, we need to establish that this is a nation that is, in fact, united. I agree with Candidate Clark's approach. Specifically, we can create richer opportunities for tourism, rural work, and government jobs that entices people into places in need.
We are witnessing the most pacified debate in history, folks.
Ain't a bad thing.
I'll agree there.
The next question is for whoever wants to answer first. You two sit very similarly in your concerns, but where do you feel like you diverge in your approach to presidency?
I think Candidate Clark would make for a wonderful president. However, I think his approach is reminiscent of every young politician. He served in a plethora of offices in Montana, but what he's lacking is the experience and expertise to get it done. I served 30 years in Congress where I passed more laws to benefit the American population than I can count. When this country was deeply divided, red and blue, I was the one actively building the bridge. When anyone looked to harmed Constitution, domestic, international, or even executive, I managed to unite Congress to prevent those aggressors. Clark will have decades of experience that he'll be able to grow. I already paid all of those dues, and I'm ready to show America what a seasoned veteran can accomplish.
Thank you. Candidate Clark?
Again, I agree with Christina. I truly do. I haven't held a national office. A lot of Americans are going to see me as unqualified. But what I have managed to do is accomplish being in the dirt with Americans. I'm as homegrown as they come. I was born blue collar, raised in a small town by a father who worked in construction and a mother who would take care of me and my 5 siblings. And when my mom had to join the workforce for us to get by, it's when I learned to protect. Protect my brothers from bullies, protect my sisters from predators in sheep's clothing. I learned to protect those in need of help. So when I ran for office, I wasn't the youngest to ever take the position in the country's history. But sure, I was the youngest in my county, and I made sure the little guy wouldn't get screwed. The reason why I'll be the right president for America is because America needs a big brother. America needs protection. And I'm ready to lay down my life and be that protective brother that America needs.
Blackout. Scene 3, Rolls, New York. The same night, the scene shifts to a rooftop cocktail lounge that looks over New York City skyline. Christina sits on a bar stool, scrolling on her phone, martini in hand. A bartender is cleaning the bar. There's an offstage chatter of other patrons as a light piano plays. Grayson and April enter, laughing.
Christina, hey!
Grayson, what are you doing here?
Me and my team wanted to have a celebration night, and one of the interns said he could get us in here. Apparently his dad owns the spot. Who would have known?
Don't listen to him. The owner is a close friend. That's why we hired his son.
April, come on! Christina, my apologies. This is my wife, April.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Huge fan.
Anything to drink?
All of them makers on the rocks.
What are you having?
Simple martini.
I'll have one too.
Put it on my tab.
The bartender nods and begins making her drinks.
Christina, you don't have to do that.
Call it investing in the future.
I'll get you back for this.
I look forward to that day.
Actually, this is so embarrassing. You were the first person I ever voted for.
You're kidding.
I had just turned 18 and moved to LA.
Well, that's a good way to remind me of my age.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
It's all right. I accepted it when I first read
I
it.
gotta say, Christina, you had me on the ropes today.
You did pretty well yourself.
Yeah, but not like you. You got a way with words that makes me feel like David and Goliath over here.
So I'm called old, then I'm called big.
We are not making a big case for ourselves tonight.
If we weren't able to make merry with one another, what kind of world would this be?
Sincerely, I got squashed out there. All the news channels are talking about how you still got it.
Don't worry, me and my team saw your fan base grow as well.
You're keeping an eye on our numbers.
Only as much to stay aware of my competition.
The bartender sets the drinks before them.
Your drinks?
Thank you. You honor me. You know that. Hey, George! Let me talk to you for a second. Excuse us,
Go ahead.
man.
You go ahead, honey. I'd like to chat with Mrs. Domingue's ear off for a bit.
Oh, I'm honored.
I'll leave y'all to it. George, John, talk to me, talk to me.
April and Christina sip martinis as the chatter continues.
So, how do you feel about this whole campaign?
Great. I think that Grayson really is going to be able to.
Girl, I've been in this game long enough to know a rehearsed line.
You're the first.
I'm not the last, let me tell you. You're good though. The smile stopped short of your eyes, and I have the experience of a spouse who's a warrior.
I'm going to have to get a refund from AMDA.
The Performing Arts College. You're an actor.
That was the dream. And I did well for myself until one indie film landed me in Grayson's path. Next thing you know, I'm living in Montana married to a state senator.
That's how it happens.
Yeah. You know, it's not too different.
Oh,
Yeah, did you ever take an acting class?
when I was in middle school.
Then do you see it too?
See what?
It's the speech making, the posturing, the performance, the theatrics of all the politics.
That's an interesting way to think of it.
It's how I feel comfortable. When I realized I was like 90% of other starving actors in California, well, being a politician's wife felt not too dissimilar. It's a lot of acting interested, acting concerned, character study. Every action is watched and every action is measured.
My husband Alejandro hated being in the limelight. He actually wishes I stayed retired.
Can't relate. I feel like it's such a challenging role. I appreciate it. I know my role is to make Grayson look good. All-American man with a, if you don't mind a bit of ego, a beautiful wife and 2 kids.
Well, I don't know how to feel about that. I don't go out there and perform. I believe in what I stand for.
I don't doubt that. I'm not trying to defend Mrs. Domingue. I simply, when Grayson gets really nervous about his campaigns, I just remind him, you can believe in what you fight for all day, but no one will care unless you're able to sell it.
Hey, honey, come over here and meet Tommy.
Phenomenal talking with you, Mrs. Domingue.
Likewise.
April exits. Christina takes a long sip of her martini, analytically eyeing her as she goes. Blackout. Interlude 5, The Pastor. Texas, current day. Recorded in a Baptist church, a black man dressed in pastoral robes stands in front of a pulpit.
Now, I know y'all been following this dialogue that's been going on with this election, but have you been in tune with the spiritualism that's at stake? Because now there's a spiritual war and a divine test that's happening. And you may say to yourself, well, what kind of election is it where our love for God is being tested? What's being tested is our faith and our understanding of the good word. Matthew 22:14 says, "For many are called, but few are chosen." And we are all chosen by God for what? Well, all things. We all have callings, but only few are chosen. Few are elected. And we have 2 of God's chosen this year that are really turning up the heat. We have the bold young upstart, Grayson Clark III. And we have our sister, Christina Domingue. Now, I know Mrs. Domingue. I helped campaign for her when she first started running for senator. Because back then, we had a sister running. It didn't matter. It don't matter where she is. You show up for her. Especially because they always came for the sisters. And we weren't going to stand by and let our sisters be demeaned. And the good people of California elected her to lead. in the way that God's elect lead, like Moses, like Peter, like Abraham, like his own child who gave up his life for our sins. But this year, this election is taking a different tone. With my historic appreciation of what Sister Christina has accomplished, I would be remiss to not mention that this election has highlighted a moral, spiritual quandary because of its focus on the book, of what the book warns us about. We are told that the book explicitly tells us what to watch for. In Matthew, we are told what to do, what not to do. We are given instruction to live by in our faith. Matthew 7:15, watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. We entertain this sharing of land that these beasts are supposed to hold us up as a nation, but the word is clear. The word has been clear. These beasts have not been our friend. And what sets us apart has been named long ago. As we are the soldiers of our Lord, we must practice discernment. We must be dutiful. For what is the wolf in actuality? Why is it agreed upon in the Bible and the great philosophers that the wolf is not to be treated as anything equal to man? Descartes states that since animals were not graced to have their thoughts be plainly understood by man, they must in fact lack reason. And thus lacking reason, how are we able to judge these beings as machines, lacking spiritual function? Though God created wolves, as he did all beasts, he still warns us that they are not to be seen and treated as trustworthy friends. Peter says in Acts 20:28-29, keep watch over yourselves and all the flock of which the Holy Spirit has made you overseers. Be shepherds of the church of God, which he bought with his own blood. I know that after I leave, savage wolves will come in among you and will not spare the flock. Peter warns the elders of Ephesus of the wolves who will invade, deceive, and dismantle, and call me overly cautious. But I don't see any difference between the wolves of then and the wolves of now, because God elected Peter, he elected Abraham, he elected Moses. Never had God elected a beast, especially a beast that worships the moon. No, a beast so satanic in its nature is no soldier for God. And now we are tasked to choose. We will elect the same enemy. Will we elect the same enemy we've been taught to reject? Or will we elect a man who knows to stand against the enemy at our doorstep? And I remind you, in Revelation 6:8, I looked, and there before me was a pale horse. Its rider's name was Death, and Hades was following close behind. They were given power over a fourth of the earth to kill by sword, famine, and plague, and by the wild beasts of the earth. Well, I think that makes the choice obvious, because God elects man. Therefore, man shall elect man.
A war of yes, Pastor, amen. Go on now. The devil is alive, and more ring out as the scene transitions.
Marshall, can we invite you up to share? So we have an opportunity to have a little Q&A and to hear from our playwright here. Thanks, everyone. Great work.
Hello, all. Thank you guys so much for coming. This is a great turnout, and can we give another hand for these wonderful actors? I'm giving a little summary. I'm Obie Schaffer, big science nerd, big history nerd, and when I discovered the Pacific Northwest Wolf Day, I was like, okay, I'm hearing a lot of arguments for the culling of wolves that I heard in other marginalized communities, whether it be I don't really mind them, I don't want them in my backyard, or even to the point of actually that part where The passage speaks on Wolfgang's Satanic is actually derived from my research on these arguments. But yeah, I just wanted to say I'm so grateful to Open Air and the Missoula community for being so welcoming. Yeah, if there are any questions, please. Yeah, it's good.
A simple question. It was amazing. You guys were really good. Is this a vignette? Is there in acts? How does this develop? Where do you see this going?
Yeah, so the structure of this play will be a 2-act full-length play where we see this election year start off very cordial, but then over time it gets explosive in its nature. However, one thing that I'll be using are these tiny little interludes, full of monologues, where we see different Americans having their perspectives on this debate and on this history. Yeah. Hey, what's up?
Quick question, and it's all about me getting confused. Great play, great acting, thank you. But I guess it's Amanda who mentions to the senator that she cast her first vote when she was in LA. But earlier we hear that she's in Florida. So
yes, of course. The character of Shane Romero is the senator from Florida. April Clark, however, was 18 when Christina was first running, and she was living in California, so 2 separate characters.
But one candidate.
One candidate from California.
Then she becomes senator of Florida.
She doesn't become, she's senator of Florida.
Thanks, guys.
What's up?
MD, I'm curious what your research process is for this and who you're reaching out to. Like, how are you developing these wolves?
Okay, that's way there. So I'm so grateful to, I was doing a lot of dramaturgical research, of literary research, looking at my show, I Will Wolves Men by Barry Lopez, investigating different documentaries surrounding the Pacific Northwest wolf debate. I'm actually going to go out to interview a wolf conservationist, Daniel Curry, in northeastern Washington after my residency here. But I also, while I was in town, I was going to the Philip L. Wright Zoological Museum at the University of Montana. So grateful to that organization because there's such rich history there, as well as the Montana Natural History Center. I love how Missoula really uplifts its scientists who are so determined and so dedicated to the natural history of Montana, because this is one of the most beautiful places I feel like you can find in America, and what makes it beautiful is natural scenery. So to have people who say we have to remember like what was before we all settled here, I think that's truly important. What's up?
Can you talk a little bit about just your world building with like the breakdown of the two-party system and whether that's like a hopeful future or whether it's a, you know, like kind of what that looks like in the world that you're building and how that went.
Yeah, I sort of saw it as everyone got tired of Democrats and Republicans and said, okay, we are just going to try this multi-party system. And there was eventually a funneling of the American population that said, we just like 2 parties, please. And that's what resulted in the Manifest Party and the Liberty Party. To answer your question?
Yes, so I guess, yes, so these 2 parties are basically the reincarnation of...
It's new values, new geographical locations, but yeah, it's a slide back to a 2-party system.
What's the significance of the 2 candidates getting along in the beginning? Was that intentional or just something that...
It's completely intentional. Because what I want to show is an image of cordialness, of friendliness, of, the America that we were all promised, where we could actually share the land. So when shit goes wrong, excuse my French, then it will really goes wrong. What's up?
What are the values of the Manifest Liberty Party?
So it's our Liberty Party that is now relocated in the coastal states. They are more interested in the scientific aspects and it's more scientific, it's more media driven, it's more, and the jobs are a lot more related to fisheries, to that international commerce, and that was a bit of a boom in this world economically, and there are a lot more opportunities, so that's why there is this stratification from the interior states to the coastal states. The interior states, however, are still rural agriculture that we are familiar with, but because no one really wants to do those jobs, that's why it's struggling.
Was Liberty and Manifest always the names of these parties, or what were they originally called?
They were Liberty and Manifest from the get-go. I wanted it to be very recognized. I wanted the names of these parties to be recognizable enough that it could stir thoughts of patriotism by instinct. And then when you kind of think about it a little longer, you're kind of but I wanted it to be people think about, well, maybe people used to think about how the Manifest Party, the Manifest Destiny being this wonderful expansion of America. Now we kind of realized it was actually a horrifying thing. And even today, the questions of what I feel like liberty are being we're definitely investigating that of what is the land of liberty, and does liberty actually provide opportunity? I'm sorry, I'm so lost.
I'm curious how the relationships and the people who get deeper into there, because it's so surface to politics most of the time. So how do you see the relationships and conflicts? How do you get deeper with candidates or?
Yes. The biggest journey that these candidates will go on is how much they're willing to give up to make America safe and how much they're willing to take from America to keep it safe. So yeah, they are being really put through it, and they will have their values questioned, and they will have their morals kind of pushed to the extreme.
What do you think of those interludes to kind of see the heel in the back so you can see their
Yes, it's a balance of both, because I want the interludes to really show the American populace, because I feel like in the political play they focus so much on the politicians rather than the people who actually are affected by the politicians. POTUS, the play POTUS, the musical 1776, Hamilton kind of does it well, but Hamilton still focuses on the politicians. But you really kind of see we have the scenes like debates that show the front-facing side, but after this little debate, and especially the scene between April and Christina, you kind of start seeing the mechanics and the mindsets of these candidates. Did I answer that question?
Yeah, it'll be
and that's what I'm doing. What's up, again?
In your current thought process, does the race ever finish? Is anyone ever elected at the end?
Yes. And it gets messy. It is so messy. What's up?
Could you talk about how you see this work fitting into other things you've written and the trajectory of your writing in general?
Yeah, a lot of my works are such historical excavations, and often it takes things that happened in the past to reflect things that happen now. So it sort of fits in that framework. There is a lot of my other work, meaning a lot of my common themes, I hate to say that. I do a lot of fourth wall breaks because one of my favorite things to do as a playwright is to have the audience feel like they are not only a spectator, but they are also a participant. And especially sometimes I feel like there's something so devious about having a participant who actually doesn't have sway in the actions. Because then it's like, oh yeah, this is a train crash, and we're just watching this train go off the rails, and we're on the train, but we can't do anything. So that's how it fits with a lot of my other works that investigate history to bring it to modern day thought and theory. So.
Can you speak to metaphor and how you handle metaphor? Is that present here? And do you and I'm also curious about how you interface. There's words. As a playwright, your medium is words, but once it becomes embedded in the bodies of humans, it's another layer of realization. And can you speak to your process of using, I don't know, of exploring kind of these layers through metaphor and
Yeah. There is so much metaphorical. There's the metaphors within this play particularly are kind of intense, more intense than probably my previous works, because I am not only on the surface level. This is a play about politicians looking at wolves and looking at how a wolf attack starts turning into something a lot more crazier, where sides really get divided, and there's this big question of well, can we feel safe in America? It's not really about wolves. Because it is mirroring, as I said earlier, is to talk about how does America view its monsters. We're thinking about how does America decide what is a danger, what is a domestic danger? Is a domestic danger an invader? Is a domestic that has settled here? Is a domestic danger something that's been here and is harming us right now? And how shall we deal with those monsters? And a monster, you can put any group that is not a straight white man, and you will sort of find some sort of correlation within this play. And that was something that was so important for me from the get-go when thinking about what will this play entail. To answer your question? Okay. We'll start off. Please introduce yourself, your name, and what roles you're playing.
I'm Brett Washington, and I played stage directions.
I'm Elijah, and I was Orion, the bartender, and moderator.
I'm Kennedy Sprose, and I was Alejandro and the pastor.
My name is Kyrie, and I played Sheena Romero.
My name is Whitney, and I played Christina Dominique.
I Vlad, he, him, and I played Jackson and Grayson.
Hi, I'm Abigail Gilbert, and I played April and Emily.
Chris Caquino, I played Evans Clark, the homesteader, and Joel Wolf.
I'm Aaron, he, him, and I played Odie, Trenton, and production assistant.
All right.